like so aggressively far this way, and then I like never have room. Oh, that's me. I was like, what's that big blob? Okay, that was me. Okay. So somewhere in your notebook right now, can you please write down, this is called the law of sines. Ooh, that sounds fancy. So we know, I'm writing the word sines out, usually we just write S-I-N, but you can technically write those with a long word there. And basically we're gonna use this when we don't have a right triangle. And here's the formula. Over sine A equals B over sine B, which equals C over sine C. And then just right below it, I'm going to pick two to solve. So see how there's three parts of this? It's basically just so we don't need to write it out a million times. So when I say pick two to solve, you'll see in a second, we'll either have A and B or A and C or B and C, but you kind of just choose two variables that you're solving for and you set those equal to each other. But just as a reminder of like how we write things, when we have a lowercase letter, that's a side. When we have an uppercase letter, if I could talk, that's an angle. So just depending on what sides and angles we have, we'll pick two parts of this, we'll solve it, it'll be super exciting and fun. But that's about as crazy as the formula gets, so that's kind of nice. So let me find an actual example. So, okay, the example's not bad either, which is nice. So, actually, I'm not gonna solve it. We said we're keeping it simple today. We'll just solve for one thing. Solve for B. A. Sorry, it takes me a second to write this. B. 8 degrees. And A equals 42.9. Hold on, I just need to make sure. You guys see that? You can. Okay, so I'm going to give you a second. If nothing else, you just write this down right now. You just do your best, right? So when I say choose two, or pick two, see how in the problem I only have A's and B's? So I actually, for this problem, I don't actually even care about this part with the C, because I don't even have it. So when I say pick two, you just look at what variables you have, and you're going to choose those two pieces of that equation. So we don't even care about the C part. So I'm going to rewrite it just as A over sine A equals B over sine B. Once again, I don't care about C because I don't have any C's, so it doesn't really affect my life. So all we're going to do, this is basically trig. We plug into a formula and we solve. Okay, we can do that. So side A is 42.9. Okay, over sine of angle A, and angle A is 32, equals, on this side, I don't know, side B, so that's what I'm solving for, right? It says solve for that lowercase b. But I do know angle B, so I can plug it in on the bottom. So I'm just going to leave it there for a second, just for you to write it. But what you can see is basically we had variables, and I just kind of replaced them with what numbers we knew that were given to us in the prob. Excuse me. And then we're going to solve. So this is where I'm going to grab my calculator. I don't know what this is. Hey, does anyone remember? This is called a proportion. How do you solve a proportion? You? No one? Cross multiply. Get it out. Algebra? Come on. You cross multiply. Okay, so I'll make a little note. Cross multiply to solve. I think we've actually done that this year, guys. So don't pretend like you don't know. So when I say cross multiply, we're going to do, I'll do my work like right over here. 42.9 times sine of 81.8. You put an equal in the middle. Trying to see if I have enough room over there, but I can move the camera if I don't. And then on the when I cross the other way, I do b times sine of 32. Just make sure I'm not all the way on the camera. Oh, I am joyful. Our main goal is to get this b by itself, right? So that's always, we want to solve for the variable. Since that's multiplication, I'm going to divide by sine of 32 to cancel that. Sine of 32. And then I'm going to plug this into my calculator. So there's a little bit of the setup, but to get most of the work and to get that final answer, it's all calculator. So I just grab my, let me make sure I'm in the right mode. I am. Okay, 42.9 times sine of 81.8. I always press enter just to make sure like that's the top. Okay, enter. And then I'm going to divide by sine of 32. And b is going to come out to 80 point, I'm going to round to 1.3. And that would be centimeters. Fun stuff. Wow. Exciting. So what happens is, like back in the day, we could use Pythagorean theorem and fun stuff like that because one of our angles was 90. If you don't have an angle of 90, you can't use Pythagorean theorem, unfortunately. Our good old friend that we've used all year. So in this case, we have to have some sort of other method. So this first method is called law of sines. There is another method called law of cosines. It's just some different formulas. So we'll just get familiar with this. We'll try a few. We'll see how we feel in practice. And then we'll look at that other one later. And then I don't even know what we'll do after that. We'll just keep chugging along, guys. We'll just do our best at this point. We're just giving people a second if you need to write it. Okay, literally, we're just doing 2 more problems, though, so you can I don't know, survive today, hopefully. Oh my goodness. Okie dokie, this is so fun. Let me see. Let me do one similar to that. So there's like some ways you can kind of change it around, but once again, we'll ease ourselves in here. I don't want to do too many new things at once. It's just confusing. Okay. So let me do one more similar to that, and then we're going to do one more. We're kind of finding a different piece. Let's do something with C's. I'm going to erase this. Okay, so this one, same idea. We're going to solve for a missing piece. In this case, I'm going to solve. I'm solving for the same thing, actually, for side B. But I'm going to be given different information. So here's my info. Sorry, I know I'm kind of in front. I'll give you a second to write this up when I'm done. I'm going to be honest, I kind of hate the letter C because the uppercase and the lowercase look the same, and it's like, I don't know, it's just annoying. Just as a reminder, if you see an angle, that's an uppercase, and if you see a side, that's a lowercase. So just as a heads up. But sometimes with C's, they kind of just look the same, right? You can't tell. But angles are uppercase and sides are lowercase. So when I say pick 2, you just look and say, what letters do I have? I have C's and I have B. So when I say pick 2, we're just going to focus on the C and B and C from this equation. So once again, there's always kind of one piece you're ignoring, and that's okay. It's more just so we didn't have to write this a million times. So I'm going to plug it into B over sine B equals C over sine C. So I kind of just pick what I'm plugging into. Once again, you could do A and C, B and C, A and B. There's a few different combos. So let's plug in what we know. I don't know angle B, or excuse me, I don't know side B, sorry. I do know angle B. It's 69.38. And then over here, I do know side C, it's 45.38. And I do know angle C, so make sure you write sine of angle C. So I'll give you a second while we're setting up. Yes, because I was just thinking about it. Know how you guys are taking this senior picture on March 24th?
Is that on Wednesday?
Yeah, does that mean you guys don't have school that Wednesday?
Yeah,
Here's A has it at 9, so.
Yeah, so like we're just like not gonna have school that day for you. Like, right?
Guess so.
I've decided it's not like that. That was the first time I'm like, sweet, like, seriously, like, don't be told. Because we would have our meets for like, if you're going to a picture, you can get ready, you know. Like having Trig up on you. I will check it out, but I'm gonna pretend you guys just don't need to go on. And my other thought was, is anyone like they heard that and they're like, I'm not going? Anyone aggressively not going? Okay. You should go.
to the picture.
Nice to have everyone in the pic. Try to make it. Okay. So then from here we say, well, we've done most of the work. We've done the setup. To solve it, we're going to cross multiply. So I kind of just do my work off to the side or wherever makes sense for you. And I'm going to do this cross down times this. So I write it out, B times sine of 74.08. And then you always put an equal in the middle and you across the other way. All right, I always never know how far I can go over. And oh, you can't see that one. It goes right to the edge. I just never want to be writing and the people at home can't see. And then always you kind of just organize, what am I searching for? I'm trying to solve for this. And if I want to solve for this and I want to get rid of that times, that sign, I'm going to divide by sign. So if you're not noticing, this is basically the same exact thing as the last problem. We just changed some numbers around. So once you get used to it, you really are doing the same thing every time. And then once again, you're throwing this into your calculator. Some different numbers, but same process here. So I'm going to grab my calc. What do I got? 45.38 times sine, that's an awkward 69.38. I always hit enter when I do the numerator, and I do divided by the denominator. And you should get about 44.17, I'm going to say. This is a side. The sides were in meters, so I'm going to label it as meters. And that would be your final answer. So I'm just going to do one more problem. So once again, we're easing ourselves in on I almost just said Monday, on a second Monday, right? Thursdays are second Monday. I'm just going to show you one other one. It's going to be a little different in the fact that for the two that we've done, we've had two angles in the side. This next one, we're going to have two sides and an angle. I just want to show you what the difference is. Tomorrow we'll practice a little, and then it will be the weekend. We just won't worry about it. Okay, beautiful. Let's do, I'm just trying to find some nice numbers, because if I try to make these up, it's usually a big old disaster here. So let's do, not that one. That's a word problem. Definitely don't want that one. Okay, let's do, what did I say? 2, actually, but they didn't have that in this chapter. Oh, never mind. That's next section. So we won't even do that. Oh, even better then. Okay. So we'll save that for the next part. They kind of break this into two sections, so that's in the next section when we change it. Yeah. So let me just throw one up. We'll kind of just talk about the setup. I just want to see if you can at least plug it in, and then we'll solve it. And then we'll kind of have a few other quick things I want to talk to you about, but that will be it for this beautiful Thursday. Sorry, I'm just trying to find one with semi-decent numbers. Oh, no, I don't want that one at all. No, why are they doing that? No. Okay, then they get annoying, so this is shamble. So let's do this one. I feel like I keep solving for B. I don't know why that happens every time, but I just do. Angle F is 68.4. Angle B is 54.23. Inside 12.7 feet. Okay. So in a moment, I'm going to have you do kind of just one of the steps just to see how you're doing. But before we start, we always organize ourselves and just look at your letters. You have an A, you have a B, and you have another A. So when I'm thinking about over here, when I'm picking, remember we picked two, I only care about A's and B's. So the C's don't really affect this problem. So when I say pick two, I'm just going to rewrite that as A over sine A equals B over sine B. And just as a reminder, the lowercase are the sides, the uppercase are the angles, and the angles always go with your trig function, so just as a heads up. So in the next 2 minutes, can you take this information and put it into that formula? Thank you so much. I just want to see if anyone else has signed on, do my attendance. That's right. The main thing about trig is like literally all we do is plug into formulas. That's pretty much it. So once you kind of get that, you should be okay. I know sometimes the numbers are a little annoying, but an angle is always just what can you plug it to? And then just as a reminder for the people at home, if you're supposed to be here, so if you're cohort B, just make sure you're on the remote learner list. I'll check it in a few minutes. But if you're not, you get marked as absent. I do make a little note. Just as a heads up, make sure you're approved. Alright. Beautiful. Let's say like another minute, and then we'll solve it, and then that will. I'm taking our time today. I've been using Trig forever, but last year I didn't get to this stuff because of COVID. Now it's like I have to refresh my memory about my sections here. It's been almost a year since I left school there. We might do one quick other thing, but it will take like 2 seconds. I just wanted to show you something. So we throw in what we know. What do we got? 12.75 over sine. My angle goes here, so 68.41. So please just make sure you don't switch your angle and your side. The angle always goes with the trig function. Equals, I don't know side b. I feel like everyone we solve for side b, that's not necessarily always going to happen. It was just kind of the magical ones I've chosen today. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So hopefully you could at least get to that point. Oh, found it. So we are going to solve it. And to solve it, we would say, I'm going to cross multiply here. I put an equal. I cross multiply the other way. Sorry, I can't see my screen, and then I was just wanted to make sure I don't go off the screen. Okay, beautiful. And then, just like the other ones we've done, I want to solve for this. I'm going to divide by what it's attached to. And then I'm going to throw this in my calculator and find my final answer. You're going to notice these get real repetitive. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Put a degree symbol in. You're just changing your numbers. And that would be 11.13, and that would be feet. Beautiful. Okay, so we've done 3 so far. There's just one. I just want to show you one quickly. For the next one, we're not even going to solve the whole thing. It's just for setup wise. We'll do 1 or 2 tomorrow, but just while we're in the throes of it here, we got a little time. And then we'll go from there. Okay. I'm just giving people a second if you're still writing. All right, I'm going to erase that. We're going to do one more, just a quick setup thing. We're not even going to solve the whole thing, but that will lead us into what we're doing tomorrow. But tomorrow's going to be more we'll just do a few at the beginning, and then we'll have a little practice sesh. See how we're feeling. Solve for, and we're not even really solving the whole thing. There's just something I wanted to show you with the setup of this. Solve for A. I know I'm in the way, so I will move in 1 second here. So, this is what we do. We say, I'm solving for A. So once it says solve for A, I have to kind of use this piece of my puzzle over here. So I need A over sine A for sure. And then I see I have side B, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to use A and B. I'm feeling pretty good about love. And then they just throw me this curveball. So then it gives me angle C. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Usually I'm only dealing with 2 letters. And it says pick 2. You never want to plug into all 3. So don't put angle A here and side B here and angle C here, because that's just not going to help you. So my hint for this one, because there's a lot of these, and they are going to pop up tomorrow. If you have 2 angles, which we do, right? Find the third by subtracting from 180. So what I'm saying is, if I know angle A is 87.2 and I know angle C is 74.3, I can find angle B by doing 180 minus those 2 angles. And it will come out to be, I have no clue, so I need to grab my calculator. But the main goal is, if you're I have all sorts of weird info. A lot of times, if you have 2 of the angles, you just need this angle. But you can find it quickly. That's something we've done before this year. It comes out to 18.5. But now that I have this, because I have B and I have B, oop, that was awkward. And since I want A, I'm gonna use A. I will use the two parts with A and B. And plug into that. So technically when I'm actually solving, I'm not even really using that. Because the C, once again, I can't use 3 pieces, that's too much. But if there's ever like, oh, I don't know what to do, most of the time, if you have 2 angles, you're just gonna find the third by subtracting from 180, and then you can use that angle, because that matches with that side, and kind of go from there. But we won't even solve that for now. But just as a heads up for tomorrow, guys. I'm sure you were waiting in anticipation for that one. So there you go.
Can you put the note thing on my classroom?
Oh, yes, I know, I will. Sorry, there's people that are remote that, I'll do that in a second though. Give me 1 second, it's always kind of a disaster for me to set everything up, so I should just make one. Okay, so we still have a few minutes left, but we'll take this few minutes to kind of me to check your notes, you guys to submit stuff, just to kind of keep up. Hopefully you've noticed, like, if you literally showed up to class and just like showed me your notes, you should have like a really decent grade. So just keep that up, right? Not giving you stuff to do at home, not even like giving you like a ton of independent work, it's just like follow along and you'll be in good shape. So just let me set this up for the people at home, because I know I posted it for cohort A, but for cohort B, there's a few of you, so then I have to go back and do that separately. So give me 1 more minute. But if you do see it up, you can start to upload stuff. So today is Thursday already. Sorry, this is always the most annoying part of the day.
Oh my god. Really? It was so strong. I offered you coach. Yeah. Why the sugar? Can you eat like the salad? You know salad with me? You like sugar? No, that's why I don't know. If you're only intake of sugar. Sugar once a week. I did for this time. What? You can ask them. What? I you just said. Yeah. You're arrested?
I think everyone should now have it. Let me just look at my name. So cohort A got it. So you guys should be good. And then cohort B, I kind of posted you guys individually. So you are uploading your functionovers now. I'm gonna walk around and check the people, see how I'll be back in 1 moment. Do not sign off until I give you the go ahead. Hey guys, I'm just gonna come check your notes quick. Because if you're here, you'll get credit for it. Basically, if you just show up and you're just like semi-functioning, you'll be fine. Just like, yeah, just. Yeah, you would have done yourself. I can tell you, I can tell you what it is.
It's not a big deal.
No, I have it right, because I did it out of the book. Let me check. So the answer's right here. What was that? Yeah, you got like 200 and something?
238.
Yep, that's right.